is ya sole trader though ni incomplete records. Acha ni share Excel tuifanye. So umeambiwa like this, Grace Solo is a sole trader who runs a commercial bakery. She does not maintain proper records but has provided you with the following information. So ha maintain proper records but ame capture all the information with regards to the business. Most of the time hawajuangi double entry wakisema aje complete ama aje maintain proper records. So kuna factory buildings, motor vehicle, furniture, all those. Conspicuously, you can't see any value ya sales na purchases. Haiko listed. The reason haiko listed ni because we have to create an account ya sales na purchases tuzipate as our balancing figures. Meanwhile, naweza kuanga nikitengeneza the pro forma. Niseme Grace Solo statement of profit or loss for the year ended. Loss for the year ended which year? 31st December 2021. December 2021. So since hawajatupia sales na purchases, we still know though tuta have to include those values, but there is a working we have to do ya kutengeneza those accounts. You actually do the most of the work to kutengeneza hizi accounts kama ile ya non-profit, the way tulikuwa tunatengeneza na receipts and payments account. Sasa in this case what we have ni a cash book here. Naona ni similar to na receipts and payments accounts. So tuko na cash sales yes na cash purchases, but balancing figure ndo inafaa ikuwe credit sales na purchases, so we have to account for hiyo. So hii ni shillings in thousands na shillings in thousands as well. So sales, yoni kama kuna any returns. Let me see kama kuna returns. Nikitengenezanga the pro forma. Any return inwards, return outwards. Discounts allowed, took goods for personal use. Okay, hakuna return inwards. So tuanze na sales. Less cost of sales. Hii ni working one of course. Always pia ukipata exam paper, try as much as possible kurecord zile vitu haziaffectiwi yenye utakuja sasa kuadjust later tu. At least utakuwa na max. Cost of sales, opening inventory, add purchases. Tuone kama kuna any carriage inwards or things of that nature. Kwa expenses, carriage inwards, none. Add purchases, less closing stock, alafu conspicuously kuna drawings of goods. Less drawings of goods. So kama umedraw goods, specifically goods, huwa una reduce hapa. Kama umedraw cash, ndio una reducing kutoka kwa bank ama cash summary. But here, note number 3. During the year ended at 1st December 2021, Grace Solo took goods valued at 800,000 for her personal use. So ukidraw goods for your personal use, hiyo ni drawings. 800,000. I think pia niko na opening inventory. Naweza pata opening inventory. Purchases pia niite working too because hatuna purchases. We have to calculate those ones. But tuko na opening inventory. Opening ndio hii 13,700, closing ni 14,930. 13,700. So the way wameipanga ni such a way that tunaangalia this year na next year. So ujue which is the opening, which is the closing. So that should be the sum of hizo. then gross profit ikue hapo. So gross profit ikue this value here ni minus hii value. Add other incomes, nimeona other incomes, namely discount received. Mostly sole trader ndo ukuwa na discount received, investment income, etc. So other incomes in this case was given under note 2. Discount allowed ilikuwa 873, while discount received amounted to 886. So discount received of 886,000. The discount received is an income, 886,000. So 886. Now we can get total income. Total income ni hiyo whatever itakuwa kwa gross profit plus hiyo. Then sasa we can start less expenses in the total incomes. So you can see at least hapo ume capture a few things. So ukienda sasa at least kufanya workings, at least you have something ume note down. Kama sasa expense, we have discount allowed as the first expense. Discount allowed, which is discount allowed amounted to 873,000. Okay, 873,000. So 873. Okay, so now what we can do sasa, tunaweza tengeneza our accounts receivables. Accounts receivable inatupeanga the balancing figure as the credit sales, alafu accounts payables inatupeanga balancing figure as our credit purchases, yeah? So we open two accounts, an accounts receivable account, tupate the balancing figure. So brought forward ya receivable ni debit because it's an asset. Accounts receivable account, the shillings in thousands. Na ingine pia ni shillings in thousands. Shillings in thousands, shillings in thousands. So balance brought forward the accounts receivable is 11,450, carry forward ni 11,570. Balance brought forward 11,450. 11,450 because it's a debit account, sababu ni an asset. Carry forward ni 11,570. Balance carry forward 11,570. Then tuko na these cash purchases zile zilikuwa accounted for. Cash purchases, no, this is a receivables. So kama ni receivables ni cash sales, yeah? Cash sales ya 28,860. So hiyo ndasema imetoka kwa cash book 28,860. Balancing figure sasa ndio itakuwa our credit purchases, not credit purchases, sorry, credit sales, because kama uko na zile sales you sold, you got cash, the balancing figure lazima tu translate to whatever is, oh no, nimemeka a huge error. Haifai kukua cash book hizo za sales, nafaa kuchukua hizo accounts receivable. Accounts receivable ni 98,810. So hapa nikisema cash book ni ya receivables, not cash sales. Accounts receivable, utaona why in a minute. So accounts receivable from the cash summary tumeambiwa ni 98,810. Then if it's like so, uko na brought forward, uko na carry forward, alafu uko na zile receive. So balancing figure itakuwa credit sales. hiyo ndio itakuwa our balancing figure. 110,380. So 110,380 ni minus balance brought forward 98,930. So hiyo ndio credit sales, but si total sales. Total sales itakuwa cash sales and credit sales. Cash sales plus credit sales. Hawaja mention anything like bad debt written off, like hawajasema anything of the sort, ndio maana nimeenda directly hivyo tu. Okay, so credit sales ni 98,930, cash sales ilikuwa 28,860. Total sales itakuwa the sum of the two, 98,930 plus cash sales of 28,860. 28,860. 98,930. Let me see kama ni 98,930. 98,930. Yes. So hivyo ndio mtu ufanya. Kama umepewa an accounts receivables za brought forward na carry forward, tafuta the balancing figure. The balancing figure equal our credit sales. The same case for purchases. Once in accounts payable account. The reason we have to do hivyo ni lazima during the year kuna some credit purchases or credit sales we made. So we have to determine tuone these credit purchases na these credit sales zinatoshanaje, how are they, ama ziko equal aje. So balance brought forward for payables, because ni a liability account, inakuanga on the credit side. Then balance carry forward iko on the debit side, like so. So brought forward for payables, the amount ya accounts payable ni 15,460. 15,460. Carry forward for accounts payable ni 16,800. Haya, we have done hivyo. Then kwa cash summaries, kuna zile accounts payable ziko recorded kwa cash summary, huko ziko on the credit side. So kwa this account tutazileta on the debit side. So cash book ama cash summary accounts payable. So the amount ya accounts payable from the cash summary ni 57,760. So balancing figure in this case equal credit purchases. The total equal to that. So balancing figure, your credit purchases. And our balancing figure, credit purchases, chukua 74,560 minus 15,460, 59,100. But remember as well, total purchases ni cash purchases plus credit purchases. Equivalent to cash purchases plus credit purchases. So cash purchases ziko given huku, cash purchase of 15,640. On credit tuko na 59,100. So total purchases equal 59,100 plus 15,640. So 15,640 plus 59,100. So hiyo ndio purchases. Opening inventory, add purchases, less closing stock, less sanitary closing inventory. It's a better term. Inventory. Then remember, drawings of goods inatoleangwa kwa cost of sales, na bado itatolewa kwa drawings though. So tuko na gross profit as follows hivo, then add other incomes kama discount received. I'm tempted pia kusema rent. Kuna prepaid rent anywhere huku? Rent received in advance, yes. So kuna rent received in advance ya 31st December. Pia kuna rent received in advance ya 31st December 2021. Then we have rent huku. So rent, tuta have ku create an account for it. So anything yenye unaona kuna prepaid, kuna accrued, lazima tuta create an account. For instance, salaries and wages due, kuna an opening na closing balance, itatengenezewa an account. Prepaid rates, itatengenezewa an account as well. Rent received in advance, itatengenezewa an account as well. But things hazitengenezewa accounts ni kama motor vehicle expenses, that's a direct expense ya 10320. Motor vehicle expenses 10320. Tunajaribu ku capture as many things before uende kwa workings. Tunajaribu kuandika as many things as possible. So motor vehicle expenses, in this case, utajuaje unaweka as an expense, iko on this credit side. Motor vehicle expense of 10320. We also have easy expenses ingine. General expense, bank charges kwanza. Bank charges of 7650. Hiyo ni expense. 7650. Also we have general expenses. Kuna anything about general expenses? Sijaona. General expenses 4770. General expenses 4770. Also we have loan interest. Loan interest. Kuna loan hapa, okay. So loan interest, okay. Loan interest tunaweka because hakuna anything nimemention about interest. Loan interest ni 800. Direct expense as it is 800 shillings. Then tuko na loan repayment. Loan repayment itakuja kutupea the carry forward value. So naona hapa kuna question mark for the loan repayment, not for the loan amount. So tutaenda kuidetermine in that place. Motor vehicle is an asset, but tunahitaji calculate depreciation. Drawings iko kwa capital, carry forward iko huko. The other expenses zenye sije in list, kuna salaries and wages, kuna prepaid rates. Salaries and wages. Kuna prepaid rates. Kuna accumulated depreciation as well. Ukiangalia keenly, accumulated depreciation ya factory building 2020 tulianza na 85, 2021 ikaenda 17. Si itamaanisha the depreciation that has moved from 2020 to 2021 is the depreciation for the year because imeongezeka. So depreciation ya factory building, we'll get it like this. Factory building. Wacha kwanza nifanye the short way, then I go to the long way. The short way is simply chukua the value ya this year minus ya last year, pata depreciation as 85 for this year. The longer way, you chore an account of accumulated depreciation ya building like this. Accumulated depreciation of the building. Brought forward because ni a liability account, ni on the credit side. Carry forward ni on the debit side. So balance brought forward, alafu balance carry forward. forward, carry forward. So brought forward ni hiyo 85, carry forward 17,000. Of course the greater side ni 17,000. Greater side ni 17, but hii side is a missing figure, so balancing figure ndio itakuwa the depreciation for the year. End of the balancing figure, simply 17 minus 85. So you can see ni the same thing ukiopen an account, but see a must, you can just use the opening na closing balances or deduct as we have done. So for instance, ya motor vehicles itakuwa this amount minus this amount. This amount ya 2021 I mean minus ya 2020. For furniture the same, this amount minus this amount. So hiyo inaweza kupea very good progress. That is depreciation motor vehicles. The depreciation in motor vehicles hawajatupea the rate, so they can't compute for this new vehicle yenye they bought. We can't compute it, so ni just tuchukue the difference between 5422 na 2580. 5422 minus 2580. Then the other, the depreciation of furniture and fittings. Furniture and fittings. Depreciation on furniture and fittings equal the difference between 3200 and 1600. Hakuna any depreciation also mentioned in the cash summary, so there's nothing to include relevant for depreciation. 32 minus 16. 3200 minus 1600. So depreciation ndio hizo. The only expenses tumebakisha ni salaries and wages, prepaid rates, I think na rent received in advance. So we open those three accounts tupate opening na closing balances na the balancing figures. Yes, that's what imebaki. So tunaweza open kwanza which account here? Tunaweza open the salaries and wages due. Salaries and wages due ni kama accrual, so ni liability accounts. So brought forward itakuwa on the credit, carry forward on the debit. Salaries and wages due account. So brought forward iko on this side, carry forward iko on the other side. So the trick na these questions are incomplete records ni kufungua as many of these T accounts. But kama unaweza add na kuminus without opening the accounts accurately, it's still okay. But the most appropriate way ni ufungue these T accounts ndio uweze kudetermine the movement effectively. So salaries and wages due ni 8420 na 8250. So 8420. Carry forward is 8250. 8250. Then kwa the summary of cash summary, we have a payment ya salaries. Kwa cash summary, salaries and wages on the debit credit side on this side, so tutaiweka on the debit side because huko iko on the credit. Hapa kwa cash summary, summaries and wages ikuje on the debit. Ndio sasa whatever we get as our balancing figure ikuwe our income statement expense. Balancing figure itapelewa kwa income statement. So this is 15,820. 15,820. So this side iko greater of definitely. 24070, 24070. So balancing figure is what tunapeleka kwa the statement of profit or loss. So the difference between 24070 and 8420, 15650 ndio tunaipeleka as our salaries expense sasa, because hiyo ndio the balancing figure, what we charged for the year. Yes, tulilipa 15820, but what is the full charge for the year is 15650. So 15650 under salaries, 15650. Prepaid rates, same thing. Prepaid rates ni an asset account, so ni brought forward ni on the debit side, carry forward ni on the credit. Prepaid rates account. Is prepaid rates account. Anything mentioned kama prepayment is an asset, so una debit the opening balance, una credit the closing balance. So for prepaid rates, this is the way itafanyika. Balance brought forward, balance carry forward. Balance brought forward for these rates is given hapa 7750, carry forward 7860. 7750, 7860. Then rates zozote we paid during the year, kwa the cash summary we record them as well. So rates are recorded wapi? Rates 9140 kwa the cash summary. So on the credit side huku, so huko tutaiweka on the debit side. Cash summary for rates. The cash summary ya rates, the value given ni 9140. So 9140. So total side of course ndio greater that value plus that value. 16890. Huko kwingine pia ni 16890. So balancing figure is what tutapeleka kwa income statement of profit or loss rather. That's what tutapeleka kwa statement of profit or loss. The difference between this total na carry forward, tutapeleka 9030 as our rates. Sasa hatutaita prepaid rates hapo, tutaita our rates. The prepaid rates, the carry forward value actually itaenda kwa SFP as a current asset. Then salaries and wages due carry forward itaenda as well kwa SFP as a current liability. Okay, haya. So what is left now, 9030 ndio prepaid rates ama our rates, 9030. There's one nimekuwa nikiavoid deliberately but nimeifikia finally, which is rent. Rent iko on the debit side. If it's on the debit side inamaanisha it's an income, but we have to determine the exact amount of that income ndio tuweze kurecord kwa the income statement ama the statement of profit or loss. So the same thing, tufungue a rent account, then it is an advance, ni an rent received in advance. So your rent received in advance meaning it's what? It's an asset account, yes. So tufungue rent account here. Tupate the balancing figure. Rent account. Shillings in thousands, shillings in thousands. So brought forward iko on the debit, carry forward iko on the credit because it's an asset account. So balance brought forward for rent in advance in 79, 81, 80. Balance carry forward 81, 80. So alafu we have the rent yenye ilichajiwa there is this rent ilichajiwa kwa cash summary. Rent ya cash summary ni 13700. Rent ya cash summary and 13700. Tupate the carry forward value. Now kwa sababu carry forward iko on the debit side, hiyo tutairecord as an income now because iko on the debit side. Balancing figure, statement of profit or loss, na huko itaenda specifically as an income because iko on the debit side. Ingekuwa on the credit side ingekuwa in the expense section, but since iko kwa the debit side it's an income. Also kwa cash summary iko indicated on the debit side, so it's an income to us. So other incomes I should include rent ya 13980 kwa other incomes. Rent ya 13980, 13980 kwa rent. Yes. So other incomes, rent 13980. Let me confirm whether that's the value. 13980 rent. Yes, 13980. Hiyo ndio rent. So add that gross profit plus these other incomes, upate 69946 less expenses zote. I doubt whether there is any expense nime leave out. Any expense nime leave out, any expense? There is none yenye nimeacha. Okay. So naweza pata net profit, then ni proceed on to my SFP. So sama hizi expenses zote net profit equal gross profit minus these expenses. Gross profit minus the expenses there, 7911. So now ni SFP, but before that let me counter check kuona whether I have any errors anywhere. In case I have any, rectify before we continue to SFP. Though see as a complicated thing to do. Ukiweza kutell how to open these accounts, itakuwa very easy to account for incomplete records. The trick is sales mostly and purchases hazitakuwa given directly the total ones. Huwezi chukua the ones in cash only, you have to get also the cash, the credit sales as well. Upate the ones in credit. So here what we have is there's something sija include. Let me see what I haven't included. So sales. Purchases as well. Okay. There's something I hadn't included, very crucial. Remember tukiwa kwa ilikuwa inaitangwa aje, control accounts. discount received na discount allowed zilikuanga parts of the sales receivable control account na purchases ledger control account. Hiyo sales control account na purchases ledger control account. So if you have a discount allowed, lazima ikuwe included huku. Lazima to include discount allowed on this side as well, 873. So include discount allowed, now total yetu ita change to that 90 111 to 53. Then balancing figure in terms of credit sales ni 99803. So total sales ikuwe 99803 99803 plus 28860. So I had forgotten to include discount allowed na discount received. So now discount received inakujanga on the debit side ya accounts payable. So discount received as well. Discount received, we received a discount of how much? Discount received, not 3 ama not 2, 886. So if discount received ni 886, total upper definitely ita change. Then credit purchases is equal 59,986. Credit purchases 59,986, like that. So bado tuta include kwa other incomes na other expenses. Even if tumezi include kwa those accounts, yes, it's true, but we'll still include them as other incomes and other expenses appropriately as they should be included. So tume include hivyo. Tumeona we have a rent income. The rent income rent income, profit and loss, balance brought forward, prepaid rates. Okay, so because it's a rent income account, there's something I did wrong. Rent received in advance. So hii ni an accrued income, see an asset account, it's an accrued income account. Being an accrued income account, balance brought forward na carry forward zinafaa kuwa opposite. Hapo nirudie tena, see an asset account, it's an accrued income account. Being an accrued income account, zitakuwa on opposite sides because ni income, see that it's ni on our side. Being on our side, sasa tuta record like so hivyo. So hivyo ndo inafaa kukua. Brought forward ikuwe on the debit side, not debit, credit side. Carry forward ikuwe on the debit side. So balance brought forward of rent received in advance ni yetu, it's an income account, see an asset account, it's an income account. Na any income account brought forward ukuwa on the credit. So ni 7900 na 8180. 7900 and 8180. So the total now, this side ndio the greater, into the greater side. So your side like that. So carry forward ndio here. So balancing figure ikuwe ni that total minus that total. So balancing figure of 13,420 ndio itakuwa our rent income. 13,420. Honestly ilikuwa a bit tricky, I can't lie hapo. So the total now, net profit ndio hiyo 7338. I think everything now is in order. So we can make our statement of financial position very fast. So Grace Solo, statement of financial position as at 1st December 2021. as the normal order of the day. Always unaanza na non-current assets, naenda current assets, then capital, then non-current liabilities and current liabilities. Inakuwa balanced off hivyo. So let's see how it turn out. So format always, kama ni sole trader, regardless of whether ni complete or incomplete, this is how inakaanga tu. This is how it looks like. So shillings in thousands and shillings in thousands. And current assets. For non-current assets, ziko given already. Anything iko na accumulated depreciation is a non-current asset. So let's start. Factory building, haija depreciates. No, it's still intact. 425. So as at 31st December ndo tuna report. So tutatumia all of the items in this column here. So factory building 425. Nimeweka an extra 0 for 25. Then the other asset we have motor vehicles. At cost ilikuwa 93 when we started. The value at the end is unknown. We have to determine your value at the end. Motor vehicles. So motor vehicles, what we do, tulianza na 93,000. Of course we purchased another na kuna depreciation. So 93,000. First of all, to add what we purchased. How do we know to purchase motor vehicle? From the cash summary, to purchase motor vehicle ya 10,500. So plus 10,500 minus the accumulated depreciation. We are going to use ya 2021 at the end. Ya motor vehicles 5422. I've just seen something and sikuwa nime anticipate. So now hapa we have depreciation ya factory building 17,000. Depreciation ya factory building 17. Lazima tuitoe as well, because in a depreciate. I had assumed that because the cost is constant, haita depreciate, which is not true. So any motor vehicles. Tukona pia furniture and fittings. Cost imebaki the same, but we have some depreciation. Furniture and fittings. Furniture and fittings, the cost ilikuwaje? 13,500 minus depreciation ya 32. You might wonder mbona si minus ya this year. The reason si minus ya this year, the way tuna minus na kawaida, ni because ya this year iko included kwa this accumulated. So already ime-includiwa in this total for the end of the year. That's why si deduct. It's already included kwa hiyo total. So ndo maana nina minus the totals there. Then I can get my total non-current. Niende kwa current assets. Current assets comprises of closing inventory, accounts receivables, any cash ama bank, vitu kama hizo. So closing inventory tutaipata from this list here. Inventory ya 14,930, the closing one. 14,930. Kona accounts receivable as well, closing. Accounts receivable closing tunazipata. So actually you can see kama hizi zilikuwa very direct. It was a case of kutoa tu kupeleka kwa the workings. Accounts receivable ni 11,570. 11,570. Tuko na prepaid rates as well. Kumbuka prepayment ni kama ni a prepaid expense is an asset. Prepaid rates of 7860. Alafu as well we have cash balance. So unaona this balance carry forward, see it's an asset to us because itakuja carry forward huku debit side as a brought forward, so it's an asset. Balance ya cash balance ya 54,500. See, include rent. I'm not including rent because rent received in advance inakuanga an aspect of liability. Sisi tumepewa rent in advance, ni mtu ametulipa rent in advance, so to them it's an asset, to us it's a liability. That's why hata it brought forward na carry forward nilizieka the opposite sides. So there's no other thing ya assets. Yes, there's no other thing ya assets. Tupate total assets. Total for assets equal that amount plus that amount. So total assets 605,238. 605,328. Rendered directly to capital and liabilities. Capital balance brought forward. So balance brought forward ya capital, where are we going to get it? Tutaipata kwa trial balance yenye ilikuwa given. As you can see 502,320. Ya this year hatujui. The reason hatujui ni juu kuna additional capital as well as net profit hivyo. So 502,320. 502,320. Nimerecord on the wrong side. 502,320. Add additional capital. I explain where additional imetokea. Additional capital iko hapa kwa the cash summary. Capital meaning kuna some additional capital we added, because we always debit cash, credit capital when you add capital. So plus 72,250. Then kama we have a profit for the year, we always include it. Net profit for the year. The net profit for the year is hii hapa 73,38. Then less drawings. So drawings we include all the drawings. I can indicate your cash and goods. So drawings is a cash, the ones that were given, because tuna less neka negative. The ones that were given as drawings ndio hizi za cash 11,100. Then drawings of goods zile Grace ali draw bado ni part of drawings 800,000. So hiyo ndio drawings. So hii ndio capital carry forward after accounting for your additional capital, net profit and all those. Balance carry forward. So that's how it is. Hapo ilikuwa a bit technical, I know as well. So straightforward. Tuko na long term liability. Let's see. Loan tuta assume it's a long term liability. Then tuko na opening balance, hatuna closing balance, so tuta adjust current liability. Not current, sorry. Non-current liabilities. Tuko na loan. The value given initially is 17,500. But what happened? 17.5 or 19.5, alafu we paid loan. Hatutoangi interest, we only reduce the principal repayment ya loan. So in this case loan ilikuwa repaid 17.5, so ni 19.5 minus what we repaid 17.5. So whatever imebaki as owing in terms of our loan is 2,000. Hakuna any other non-current. Tuko na current liabilities, accounts payable, accruals, all those. Let's start with the most obvious one, accounts payable as well. Tumia the carry forward, ilikuwa a direct figure kabisa, no adjusting. Carry forward because ni ya 2021 tuna report. Accounts payable of 16,800. Also kuna accruals like salaries and wages, and also rent received in advance. In advance, I know it's a bit challenging, but wewe ndio umereceive rent in advance, sio wewe umelipa in advance. So to you it's a liability, to them it's an asset. That's why iko hapa. So salaries and wages accrued is carry forward, of course. Salaries and wages due 82.50. 82.50. Then accruals of rent received in advance is 81.80. 81.80. Hakuna any other thing. Naweza pata total capital and liabilities. Total capital and liabilities. So total capital and liabilities ni sum of hizo tatu there. Ni sum this plus this plus this. 605,238, 605,238. So that's how unafanya an incomplete record question.